Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So in front of me I have my neighbor's 2022 Chevy Silverado 2500HD Z71 midnight package. Hopefully I got that right. So let me preface the video with, I don't know all the details about this truck, alright, but I'm gonna just kind of walk through it with you guys and kind of point out the cool and interesting bits to it. And for funsies, I'm gonna do kind of a little bit of a direct comparison to my Tundra TRD Pro here. And you guys know, I guess for the folks who don't frequent my channel, this is a 2021 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. So I'll do a few comparisons throughout the video here. And of course, let me open with, these are two very different trucks, okay, with two very different purposes in mind. This is your hauler, right? This with a tremendous towing capability, an amazing payload, blah, 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 blah. Whereas this, a little bit more for off-roading purposes. It's a gas engine versus diesel, so that's a huge difference between them, right? So let me just open with that. I mean, two very different trucks with two different purposes, right? But I own the Tundra, so why not do a little bit of a comparison for you guys? Because, you know, I do think that there are people that still cross-shop these two to some degree, right? As that Tundra is very capable at towing and taking care of business too. Alrighty, but let's walk around this and I'll show you all the fun details and kind of point them out as I really see them. So the first thing I really noticed was the sweet headlights on this. I do like this. This is, if you can see within there, they actually have a carbon fiber up against, so I'm trying not to get my reflection too hard for this. They got carbon fiber up against the sidewall of the housing there, which is pretty neat looking. I remember when this body style came out, there was a little bit of a flack on it, just because, you know, it had almost a Japanese manufacturer look to it, right? And it distanced itself quite a bit from the previous model, from the previous generation of it. But I personally think it looks pretty cool. With it being the midnight package, the entire front end is blacked out. You got a lot of black accents throughout the vehicle, as you'd imagine with this, to include those wheels over here. There's your fogs. Of course, your parking sensors here. Little plug there, how about that? These wheels are pretty neat. So 20-inch wheels. The tire size are 275/65 for these 20s. And the Goodyear Wranglers. So they look pretty good. I believe they have Rancher shocks on them. Kind of see the top of them up there. Let me see if I can show you. I think they're Rancher shocks, if my memory serves me right. I can't really see from this angle. But with this particular package, you get some skid plates throughout. You can kind of see right up there, but a number of skid plates throughout, which is pretty neat. And this, and forgive me, I should mention this from the beginning, this does have that 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 with that 10-speed Allison transmission. And this transmission is completely bulletproof. This hood scoop is also functional, which you would expect, I guess, with this and being a turbo diesel. But it goes inward to the side there and to the actual airbox over there. Again, blacked out badging on the side here with the giant, awesome Z71 badge up there. I like that. The problem with black, though, if you just even look at it long enough, you're going to start developing micro scratches throughout it. But with this being a brand new one, it is, of course, amazing looking right now. Got a corner steps here, as well as the integrated steps on the side of the bed here. Let me know what you think about that. I don't know if I like the look of the one up here. Obviously very functional, very useful. So I think I would appreciate it if I was the owner of this. I don't know if I like the look of it though. You tell me what you think. Looks like we got a middle slider window in the back there. So unlike the Tundra, you get the giant window, the back glass that goes up and down, which is really cool. Almost a party trick for the Tundra at this point. And yes, we'll hop inside too and fire it up and show you all that. So look at the tail light there. more blacked out badging back here. Silverado and LTZ badge. Puppy dog feature. And this is a ridiculous exhaust pipe back here. And again, it could be like that Whopper commercial. Have these tiny hands. You don't know that, right? One other thing, while we're back here, I'll share is you pop that button there, and it comes down, which is pretty neat. And of course, you get the bed liner back here. They opted for that. The Chevy logo in the back there. I believe it's a standard bed. It's not the long bed. So I think that's, I don't even know if I want to guess, but it might be 6.5 feet, maybe even a little bit longer, it looks like. So again, forgive me guys, I don't know all the details. But another cool bit is you just hit that button again and it goes up. How about that? And I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but my dad, he was about that GM life. So I was growing up, I was always driving, like my first vehicle was a Chevy Monte Carlo, and I ended up I had a Silverado at one point, a big jacked up 2500 as well, not a diesel, but GM ran pretty deep within my family. So when I brought home a Subaru one day, I broke my father's heart, I think. But I always love and appreciate domestic vehicles, especially diesels. You know, they're extremely capable. They're more than what I need, is what I've learned. And you guys know I owned a Ram Cummins before, 2020, which was an amazing vehicle. It's just more than what I needed at the end of the day. Show over here, back seat space. So not as much as the Tundra, but still plenty, of course, right? They opted for, I forget what package it's called, but so one of the convenience package, I believe, where you got the seating, or excuse me, the storage. There you go. Got the storage underneath here. And another cool thing is, if I can figure it out without breaking the thing, yikes, you got little internal storage compartments there in the seat, which is really cool. So I was surprised to see that. And let me know if this is like old news at this point, but I was surprised to see that. So pretty neat. There is your rear center hookup, your USB, your standard there. All right, and there's a pretty neat wood finish there, wood trim finish. I think it looks nice. And the final thing I'll show back here is you got this head cutout. Of course, you got the sunroof, a standard sunroof up front, but this little head cutout space is pretty convenient if you're going to try to put anybody who's tall back here, of course. So pretty nice. I'll show you one more side shot here before we jump in. As you see, it has a standard antenna up front there, and honestly, up until 2020, the Tundra had the same thing, but they ended up getting rid of that starting in 2020. I believe the payload, if I recall, is I think 3,300 pounds, which is insane, which is tremendous, right? I believe the payload in this is I think 1,500 to 1,700, if that, really. Maybe even a little bit less, with it being the TRD Pro with the Fox TRD tuned suspension. So it's not necessarily set up to be the best performing in that regard. When it comes to towing, I know we're upwards in 26,000. I'm kind of guessing off the top of my head, really, but I know it's extremely high. I think I believe it was high 20s, if I recall. Let me know in the comment section. You guys can beat me up, but again, I'm not pretending to be a super expert on this. Of course, you got the tow mirrors on it that extend out far with a pretty cool handy-dandy light. So when you're backing up, of course, it's going to light up and enhance your visibility as you're doing that. Here's the interior. I think it's miles better than, maybe not miles, but it's definitely better than the Tundra. I have an extreme bias. I've developed a soft spot for the simplicity of vehicles at large, especially driving so many Toyotas. So I really like this. I think the Ford trucks, I think, are a little bit ahead when it comes to the interior here, looking better with the screen just being more flush and integrated, especially with the new F-150s. They look remarkable. But I think there's something to be said about this. Of course, it being a Chevy, you get OnStar. OnStar knows your controls for the sunroof there. And I'll pop in the driver's side there, but I'll show you the compartments over here. And this is me learning it as I'm doing it with you guys, so bear with me, okay? And then, of course, your standard glove box there. All right, let's pop over. That's what your handle looks like here. Unlock it here. All right. Show you a closer look at this here. Got your exhaust brake, your parking sensors here, your tailgate drop and pickup. Hazards, of course. Give you a closer look there. Your traction control plug, hill descent assist. Yeah, so your standard stuff in here. I do like the fact that we still have the stock up here. I think that's great. I'm gonna fire it up so your start is down here, foot on the brake. Yeah, not a bad place to be. I think nowadays we're beginning to get spoiled when it comes to the center stack here, center display, and your infotainment, as it's becoming pretty high tech these days, even in trucks, right? So looking at this, I think a lot of people could still pick it apart a little bit, with it being just a little bit buttermilk basic still. And I would totally get that. I think historically GM has not been good when it comes to interiors, right? I think it's developed a pretty poor reputation of being behind on the times on the inside. But this, I think, is, again, maybe I'm just getting old, but I really appreciate the simplicity of it. Here you got your four-wheel drive controls over here, 2 high, 4 low, 4 high. So I had to double check, make sure it wasn't over here in the standard spot. And here we have your brake controller, it appears, your USB, some cup holders. This is what your key looks like. It's pretty basic, but even more swanky than you'd get in the Tundra over there. Here's your center armrest with a couple more cup holders, and being about that dad life, you begin to appreciate that stuff pretty quick. All right, a giant center storage compartment there for wet ones. And already giving you a look at that real quick. Yeah, so you got your center stack controls over here. And looks like your cruise control settings over here. Of course, your windshield wiper, your turn signal, and then your gear selection over here to that 10-speed Allison transmission, automatic transmission. So I think I've geeked out plenty on the inside here. And forgive me, guys, I like to be a little more informed before I share a video, but I know we're not going to be keeping this truck over here for too long. I didn't want to make it a huge homework assignment. Let me wrap up the video with walking over to the Tundra, giving you guys a close look at that, and mainly for the folks who are stopping by for the first time. So if you're a regular, you can peel off the video now, but I figured I'd do a walk around of the Tundra, just kind of show and highlight some of the major differences there. Okay, so 5.7 liter V8 in this. The payload, like I said, I think it's around 1,500-ish, right around there. It tows just over, I think, 9,000 pounds, if I recall correctly. With this 5.7 liter V8, you do get 381 horsepower with 401 foot-pounds of torque. So really, if we're being honest with each other, this is going to be perfect for 9 out of 10 people. Your average Joes out there. this is going to be perfect. You're going to be able to tow most of anything, most of everything with this, you know, boat, standard stuff. But once you start really evolving into like a work truck and needing it for work, this is the direction you're going to want to lean with. Some of the things that I grew to appreciate after owning the 2020 Ram Cummins was, and I never thought I would really miss it, is small things like turning radius. And I know I'm going to get beat up. You're going to get the, you know, the hardcore truck guys out there who like to beat their chest on the internet. We're going to comment on this video, but yeah, even like turning radius, stuff like that, day-to-day daily drivability is so much better in a Tundra compared to my Ram anyway. I haven't driven this, so I can't compare it to this. This could be way better than what I had. But keep in mind, the Ram that I had was a mega cab, so an even longer wheelbase. So that kind of added to its very poor turning radius, which of course affected my daily driving to some degree. So yeah, one thing you definitely appreciate about this, and to me, of course, this is where my bias is coming out, but I'm going to explain it anyway, but this is plenty power, right? I mean, I feel like, especially with this setup, this trusted 5.7 liter V8, you guys have heard me meow about it plenty at this point, but I'll continue to do it because I truly believe it. You know, this is such a trusted platform. Connected to the 6-speed automatic transmission, it is just bulletproof at this point. So I've developed so much trust and faith in this platform over the years, and I've just grown to love it, right? Obviously, I've done a number of things to it. I didn't lift it. This is the stock TRD Pro height. But of course, we got some 295 70 18 Nitto Ridge grapplers on it, the tires there. And of course, a couple other goodies, as you can see here, the bed cover, rooftop tent, tinted windows, blah, blah, blah. So I love this. I mean, even with the exhaust, right, with this dual TRD catback exhaust, it is, I don't know, I think it's perfect. I think it's glorious. It sounds amazing. And as you heard there, and I know I didn't show an outside video of it, but that diesel is so quiet, so quiet, and really that's a good thing, because I mean, back in the day they were extremely loud and obnoxious, whereas now, in stock form anyway, with all the emissions and regulations nowadays, it is so much quieter than they used to be, which is good, right? But I personally love the growl that you get from this TRD dual exhaust. So I made this video already way too long, but just want to share these two vehicles with you side by side, highlight some of the differences. I'll show you if it's unlocked. I'll show you the back seat space just so you have a reference, right? And I'll real quickly show the front there. It's one of my favorite aspects about it. Keep in mind that the Silverado did have a dark headliner, I think a dark gray headliner, whereas you get the lame tan in the Tundra here. But again, buttermilk basic, super simplistic, maybe cringy to some. This Tonka truck, plastic door handle, but I like it. If I didn't already make that clear, I suppose. TRD stitching, standard sunroof. And to be completely fair, I'm going to start it up and show you the center stack, and then we'll end the video. So we got some bad lighting on this side, but push the start down here, foot on a brake. So pretty similar when it comes to the gauges, right? I mean, you got the RPM gauge, speedometer, a few others, right? Temp gauges in your digital center stack there, a pretty small one, right? I think the display is a little bit larger in the Silverado. I think it's a 8-inch display if I recall correctly. But otherwise, I mean, we're looking pretty similar, right? This is aftermarket, and this is aftermarket too. I should say that, to be fair. Normally this is a fake chrome and then a plastic similar to this color here. And then this is just silver normally. And that back glass window goes up and down in its entirety. So, all right guys. Well, now we'll step out and wrap it up. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one you would pick, honestly. And you know, really it comes down to what your needs are, right? I mean, if you are going to be working, if you're going to be towing, pulling livestock, whatever it is, you know, loading up full of dirt all the time, this is your go-to right here. Whereas if you're not doing that all the time, if you're just maybe taking the boat to the lake on occasion, this is going to be more up your alley, in my opinion. So thanks for watching, guys. If you stuck out with me this long, I appreciate you. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Till next time.